Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Crafty Concepts with Erin. I'm going to use this Let's Party birthday inspired collection to document a completely different theme. This is my son Hayden celebrating a first place victory. Nothing to do with birthdays, but I think the colors are going to play along perfectly. I have been inspired by this layout in the catalog. There are so many things that I love about that design, but I am going to switch it up a little bit to accommodate my photos. I only have a few photos, so this is going to be a single page layout. I've got my VersaMat, and now they've started theirs on a sheet of ballerina cardstock. I'm going to use Bluebird because that goes along with my color scheme. And then I have cut this white daisy square down to 11 inches squared, and I will gut out the extra Bluebird cardstock behind this sheet of white daisy. One design concept I love is this stamping they've done with the checkerboard stamp here. I think it's perfect for a race theme layout. I can just see it on like NASCAR race layouts or even like little car layouts for little boys, or in this case, my son's mountain bike race layout. So this is the Let's Party scrapbooking stamp, and there are two components to this little checkerboard pattern here. You have an offset solid square, and then you have the opposite pattern where they're dotted, and you could fill those in every other square. So I'm peeling this off carefully because I have not used that yet, and then I will pick it up with my block, and I do want to get all the oils off from manufacturing, so I'm just going to rub this on my arm. That way it'll take up the ink nice and evenly. They used pink. I am going to be bringing in a lot of black to this layout. My son is 19, and I definitely want it to be an age-appropriate layout. So sometimes I feel like the brighter colors can be a little bit more youthful. So by bringing in black, it kind of gives it just a little bit of an edge. I am stamping this on my scratch paper just to make sure it's stamping well. And I can't really see the bottom of my paper to line that up. So I'm adding a little bit of black ink so I can see where the edge of that paper is against my scratch paper there. I am going to replicate the layout design and just have one row across the bottom, but you could very easily keep this pattern going and create your own checkerboard pattern paper in any color you wanted to. So that's always fun. And this is pretty easy to line up. So I'm going to ink it up again and then scoot this over and then just continue the pattern all the way across. My son Hayden races mountain bikes competitively. He is what they call the expert category for his class. Next season, he'll be bumping up to the pro division. So we're excited to see what that holds for him. But this was the very last race of the season. It was up in Oregon, Ashland, Oregon. And so we took the motor home and we traveled up there to just support him and be able to watch this last race. And we are so happy we made the journey up there because he did really well in the race. He actually got second place for the day in the race, but first place overall for the entire season, which is just amazing. It just shows the consistency and how hard he was working. So we were just so proud and happy that we could be there to witness him, be called up onto the podium. It was just a really cool moment. My 4x6 photo is portrait orientation and the inspiration layout is landscape, but that's okay. We can make it work. I do want to bring in the yay paper just like they have it because how perfect is that, right? Yay, we're celebrating. So I printed this photo with a white border and now I'm double matting it on black. Again, I want to bring in more of that black and I think this is going to help that to just kind of pop off the background. I need a second pattern paper for the left-hand side, so I've got several options to choose from. I've got this little scrap here, and that's too busy, too bright. I don't like that. Let's try the sprinkle side here. That's not bad. That's a contender. We also have this one with the stripe on one side and the pennant banners on the opposite. So we'll just kind of slide this under and see how that looks. I'm not really wanting to bring in a lot of the ballerina pink into this layout. A little bit's okay, like in this one here, because the red is definitely more dominant. You know what? I like that. There's a lot of red in the photo. I think that's going to work well. So I have cut these papers down. The yay paper is 8 3/4 by 6 inches. This one here is 7.5 by 3.5. I think I want to arrange these papers kind of like this, then we can bring our photo back in. Now I have an idea for the title. So there's this great thin cut set of numbers that come along with the Let's Party scrapbooking stamp, and I want it to say first place. So we're gonna I used the die cut number 1. And then on the stamp set, they have like ST or TH. So you could be like first, second, third, fifth, whatever you're trying to, spell out for birthdays. So I have the ST for my first place. We're going to stamp that in candy apple red on a little scrap of white daisy. It's kind of a bummer the person who would have landed in the third place spot didn't stick around long enough for the podium shot. But the guy in second place, it was kind of neat because, all through the race season, my son and this other young man were kind of leapfrogging each other. One would come in ahead of the other, and then the next race it'd be kind of flip-flop. So, it was pretty competitive between these two through the whole season. I die cut my number 1 from black cardstock since the ST is in red. I thought that'd be a nice contrast, and I have it on a white circle. You can see that's fading into the background, so let's slip in another layer of black, and that definitely makes that pop much better. Now, I have a stamp set I have been just waiting for a reason to use. This is called Number 1 Fan. If you have kids in sports, or if you are a sports fan, I think that this could be a very useful set. There is the thin cut set. It's a triangle, and you have the pole and then also the little part that attaches to make your pennant. So you can stamp the words inside like hooray or proud, number 1 fan. Lots of different sentiments designed to go in those pennants. These papers are from the Mix-In collection, and I pulled these because they do coordinate very well. I'm thinking I want those pennants in red. So in order to do that, I'm kind of wanting to switch out the red pattern paper there. So I cut down this black distressed look from the Mix-In collection, and now we can use this piece for my embellishments. I will go ahead and run this through my die cutting machine. So now we have our cute little red pennant flag, and then I cut the other pieces in black cardstock. So let me bring down my other title element here, and I do want to ink up the edges of this piece just to give that a little bit of separation. I think I'm going to get a lot of use out of these little pennant banner shapes from the Number 1 Fan stamp. It's actually a stamp that's been around for a while. I just more recently purchased it, but they're going to be great for birthday layouts, sports layouts, anytime you want to celebrate an achievement. I think they're just going to be fun for my boy pages in general. So I'm just finishing up inking all of the pattern papers here with my little black ink cube. And then we could adhere down these larger pieces and then move on to the fun embellishing part of the layout. Now, I have created a double page birthday themed layout with this collection. I'll leave that video listed in the description box below. But I have seen so many other makers share non-birthday themed, ideas for this collection. And that's something I've kind of gotten better at over my years of scrapbooking, is looking for other ways to use your kit, because, we don't want to just have the papers sitting on the shelf forever. We want to get our money's worth and use them up. So, just thinking outside of the box of the intended theme and, looking for other ways to use those papers is always kind of a fun little challenge. So we're going to put the pennants up top here, coming out from behind the circle element. I actually have another photo here. This is the very start of the race. We had just dropped him off at the top of Mount Ashland, and you can tell it's cold. It's raining. It's kind of a snow/rain mix, and they're freezing to death. Now, if you had multiple photos, you could put 2 photos on top of each other, but I just have the one, so we're going to go down in the lower corner here. I really like the contrast between the 2 photos. In the beginning of the race, it's kind of just intense and, seriousness. And in the end, it's celebration and it's bright and sunny. And I just feel like it really captured the feeling and the vibe of what was going on first thing in the morning versus the afternoon. I'm using just a little bit of liquid glue to adhere my pennant banner together. I opted not to stamp the words inside the pennant and just have it be the pattern paper. So we just have to adhere this to our little pole here. So I'm just doing a very tiny drop of glue. I'm just going to blend that in a little bit. If it does squish out, it'll dry clear, so it's not a huge deal. The inspiration layout had a large embellishment cluster up top, and they primarily achieved that with adding a lot of die cut numbers because it was a birthday layout. That's not going to work for this layout, so I did cut an additional pennant banner featuring the sprinkles paper from Let's Party, and that does add a nice fullness to that upper corner. For the rest of my title, I grabbed the bold marker alphabet. This is from my stash, but it's one of my go-tos, and I am fussy cutting this out, so I wanted one that had a more block style letter to make it easy to cut out. And this one has like a little distressed look to it, so I seem to use it a lot for my boy pages. So I'm just going to stamp out the word place. Now I could stamp this directly to my layout, but I don't think it would stand out very well on that black and white distressed paper. So just taking the time to fussy cut it is going to make it look a lot better, and it'll just be more noticeable and easier to read. So I'm going to just kind of place this right underneath my circle here. I grabbed a few additional stamp sets from my stash. If you have these, cool. If not, I'm sorry you missed out on these. I will leave them listed in the description box below in case you want to go hunting for them. But I add the bike image to a lot of the bike themed layouts, so I don't know if I necessarily want it on this one. We'll see, but I've got those for options. And this one here is from this stamp set, and it says from start to finish, go the distance. So I stamped that in red, and we're going to overlap this and kind of bump our title down. For my journaling, I'm going to use this super cute notebook page. This was the January stamp of the month, so it was only available during January, but I know a lot of you grabbed this because the thin cuts were just super fun. And I have stickers here I want to incorporate. So there's a little blue star. We'll stick in the middle of that one. And then this one here says, it's your day. And I want to bring some red to the bottom of the layout and kind of over to the right. So I'm just kind of trying to see where we could add this. I do like it right here at the top of the journaling. I think that just is a good fit. Left over from some birthday cards, I have this little happy banner stamped in red, and that's from the same Let's Party scrapbooking stamp. So that's kind of cool. He was definitely happy, so I feel like this could work. You know what? We have this awkward spot, and I feel like that fills that space nicely. I'm just looking for any other way I can bring red over to the opposite side of the layout here. I'm going to cut off the pink portion of this tab, and then just kind of see if we can tuck this in the top of the photo here and maybe stamp a sentiment on it or something. That other little sticker below the awesome stamp says woohoo, and then maybe we can just kind of slide this into the side here. It needs a little something. Let's write a sentiment on it. So I've got my black journaling pen here. Sorry, I'm a little bit off camera there. I decided to write the word dropping in, like dropping in, because that's what they call it when you're just dropping onto a new trail or into the race, and I thought it would be appropriate, but I don't like it. My pen, I should have opted for like a bolder marker. The black pen against the red background, it just doesn't look good, and it wasn't centered, so I'm like, I cut it down and thought, well, I'll just use it like a bit of washi tape, and that looks okay, but then I ended up stamping the word ride on it, and I do like that much better. So I think it was a success. I really like how this birthday collection lent itself so well to a race theme. If you found this inspiring, I would love it if you'd hit that thumbs up button. And if you're not already a subscriber, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. Everything I used to create this layout can be found in the description box below the video. And if you're looking for more inspiration for boy pages, then watch these videos right here.